everyone, welcome to See You Next Tuesday. Today we are privileged to have Shelley with us. She is mum to Eivie and Caitlin, and she's going to share her story with us today.
So, I'm Shelley, clearly. Nearly 3 years ago, my youngest daughter, Eivie, took her life. She was at home when it happened, and her elder sister, Caitlin, found her when she went to bed. Eivie had gone through relentless bullying from primary school all the way through to secondary school. She was just in year 8 of secondary school when it happened. She was also let down by CAMS. She was let down by social services. She was let down by the school. She was neurodivergent. She was autistic, had ADHD and ODD, which are nice mixed bag of wonderment, especially the ODD, because it makes them super defiant. No matter how they're asked to do something, the answer is no, or it's a flat refusal, unless you've caught them on a good moment where you've asked nicely. So Eivie, it was very challenging at school. I do take my hat off to the teachers who had to deal with her. She, like I said, during primary school, was probably the easier one to deal with when it came to the bullying, because there were no phones, there were no social media.
Yeah.
So she couldn't be contacted outside of school time. So she had time to escape. She could go off and play in the park, and it's very rare that these children would turn up, unless we were on their side of Maidstone. Then she went off to secondary school, and at first couple of weeks, it was like, wow, she's loving life, and she did really well. And we seemed to think, okay, this is good. This is a good space for her. We've chosen the right school. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks in, she started coming home, and she was angry. She would throw her bag. She would stomp. She would growl at everyone. And it was like, okay, what's going on? Change in behaviour. What was going on? And it was brought to my attention quite quickly, because she had a really fantastic Senko at the time. That she was having to mask and try and be this child that the school wanted her to be, and she wasn't that child. And then, because when she got a break from lessons in her downtime, i.e. breaks and lunchtime, she was back to being Eivie, which was quite quirky. She'd have silly voices, silly faces, dance about. She was loud and in your face. Children didn't like that, so they would bully her for it. Yes, she would be out. And they had like this area called the quad, and she used to be in with her friends, and she would be dancing about and singing. She had headphones, which music was her leveler. She would level herself back out with music. And part of her EHCP was that when she entered a classroom, the headphones, the phone, and her iPad, unless she needed it for lessons, were all taken away by the teacher. The last 10 minutes of class, if she'd done the work, they went back so she could level herself back out. And you can imagine we had fun and games with the HCP, because teachers don't like to read those. They just expect her to be like little Jenny over there, or that child. Into the box. Yes, and she didn't fit inside their box at all. So you would find her on the quad. She'd be dancing, singing with her friends, and like I said, a lot of children they didn't like that. Yeah. So she was called names. She was pushed. She was kicked. She was spat at. She had food thrown at her. She came home one day and she'd got like cheese sauce in her hair. I was like, what the heck? She said, yeah, a girl threw pasta pot at me. And I said, well, where were you? In the cafeteria. And that made me angry, because inside that cafeteria would have been half a dozen teachers, plus all the serving staff. Yeah. So why wasn't it intervened? But that seemed to be a running thing.
What I just want to ask, what were the interventions for this, which seemed to be quite extreme, really?
So a lot of the time, we would find out that Eivie had been put into the exclusion room.
So she was taken out?
She was taken out.
Okay.
And the people bullying her were allowed to continue with their break time, coming into their lessons. Yeah.
So there was very little deterrent, really.
Absolutely.
And Eivie was singled out even more.
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah. This went on all the way through year 7. She was miserable. Her only downtime was the 6-week holidays, which she couldn't wait for. She was going to her grandparents. She would just wanted to be away from Maidstone and the things that she associated as being toxic.
Mm-hmm.
September rolled around again, and she knew she had to go back to school. And it was a fight. Day 1 was an absolute battle to get her out the door. She did not want to go. She was miserable. She didn't want to put a uniform on. We had everything that morning. It was hell.
Yeah.
She eventually got ready. By this point, her sister had joined her school.
Okay.
So Caitlin went to another school. Unfortunately, was sexually abused at that school. And the school did nothing.
Wow.
We intervened and had the police get involved, and the school still did nothing. They didn't take this person out. So Caitlin came into school one day face to face with the person who sexually assaulted her. So she said, I want out. I'll find me another school. And so we said, well, where do you want to go? She said, I'll go to the same school as Midge. Right, okay.
Midge is Eivie.
Midge is Eivie, yeah, sorry. Midge is Eivie.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'd already started the school at that point.
Okay.
So they went off together. I phoned Caitlin that morning and said, did you get to school okay? Yep, it was a bit of a battle, but we met up with some friends and yep, she's in. My husband and I, from that point on, spent more time in the school, in the meeting rooms, trying to sort out either Eivie's EHCP and making sure that the teachers knew to look at it. Bullying instance where she was running amok around the school because she didn't want to be in the lessons. There was one incident, this was back in year 7, where she walked out, she was messing about in the class, and the teacher said, go outside. So Eivie took that literally and went outside. And when the Senko was called, after the teacher had gone to talk to Eivie and found she wasn't there, Senko was called, and the Senko turned around and said, well, exactly what did you say? Well, I said, go outside. And she said, well done you, because that's exactly what she's done. I know exactly where she is, but she's gone outside. You have to be literal. Stay outside the classroom. I'll be with you in a moment. You haven't said that. Off she's gone.
Well, they've got no understanding of her needs,
no,
have they?
Absolutely
and her needs aren't being met.
No. So, yeah, it was a real battle. We were back and forth with the school. Kept telling you, you're not doing her any good putting her into seclusion. Every time you put her into seclusion, it makes her worse. She cannot be isolated. And they kept doing it. At the same time, she was getting not expelled, suspended. And she had a lot of suspensions. And that was really rough. And that was for stupid things like messing about on Monday. And then she'd get detention. And then if she didn't go to the detention, it would go to suspension. But they didn't seem to be able to look at her like a puppy, so to speak. And right, you've done this on Monday, so we will sanction you on the Monday. They never did that. It was always a couple of days later. And of course, a couple of days later, Eivie's forgotten about what happened on Monday, and she's thinking, what? What have I done this time? Because nothing's happened to her on Monday. Number one, she thinks she's got away with it. But number two, she's now on Wednesday and thinking, I haven't done anything today. So why am I now in seclusion or detention? Or now they're saying to me, I'm being suspended for 3 days.
And also, if Monday was a trigger day, what intervention is put in place to prevent it? Okay.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was horrible. I can understand just how upsetting it was for her. Constantly being in this place where she just felt alienated. At this point, the bullying had got to a whole new light. It was a whole new level. She came home one day and she had bruises down the back of her arm. And I said, well, where did you get those from? She said, the girl punched me. I said, in the back of your arm. As she was walking down the alleyway to come out of school, this girl had grabbed hold of her hair and yanked her hair back. She had really thick hair. Yanked her head back and then punched her in the back of the arm. So the next day I go to the school and say, what's being done about this child? Well, this is the first you've heard about him. I said, well, I emailed you last night to tell you, and I showed you the pictures as well. So what are you going to do about that child? When I went in the evening to go and pick Eivie back up, I asked the same question, what was that about? Well, we took her out of class and we had a word with her. I said, so nothing. You've done nothing. That child has assaulted my child and you've done nothing. And I actually remember saying, I bet if it was the other way around, she'd be suspended right now. And that was when I started thinking, right, we need to get her out of the school and get her into a school that was better specialised for her.
Yeah.
And we were lucky that the same coach she had in year 7 unfortunately had left, but her specialist area was neurodivergent children. And she'd gone to work at a specialist school.
Okay.
So, you know, it was the case of, right, let's try and get her into this specialist school. It's all brand new and, you know, let's see how we can do that. And that was where we were at the point that Eivie took her life. So we'd spoken to the school and they were going to see whether they had a place for her and see whether they could get her in to show her around. Unfortunately, too little too late.
That's awful. What, just while we're on that subject, for the Senkos out there and for the mainstream schools, I know this is a problem from speaking to a lot of parents.
Yeah.
What would you say to them? And
listen to the parents. You know, we're not the experts. You know, we don't have the qualifications, we don't have the, you know, the certificates. But when it comes to that child, we're the experts. We know our own children. We know what works with our child. We know what doesn't work with our child because we have done everything. We have tried this and we've tried that, and we've gone, okay, so that doesn't work. So let's try this. Oh, that works. Right, stick with that. Well, that's not working anymore. Try something else.
Definitely.
With a child like Eivie, if something was her idea or put to her as her idea, that was your winner.
Yeah.
Because she's thinking to herself, well, I came up with that, so I'm going to be the best at it and I'm going to do perfect work. But if it was, there's the work, get on with it, she wasn't going to do it.
No.
And she would just sit there, and she would draw in her book, or she would mess about, and you know, that was problematic because then she becomes a distraction in class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say you need to listen to the parents more. The parents are actually your best friends in this. If you can get the parents on side, they will work with you and they will help you understand that child, because every single child is different. You can't put them all in this one size fits all box. It doesn't work.
Completely agree.
And it never worked for Eivie. She didn't understand things, but she wasn't ever going to go, I don't understand.
And the education system as a whole, I think, for all children is like that, but especially, as you say, Eivie, with their neurodiversity. Yeah. Wow, so you were at the stage of looking at this new school, knew it wasn't working.
Yep. And then on Friday, the 10th of March, my husband had to go into the school. Eivie had been secluded for a couple of days, so she was going back for her entrance chat to say, right, okay, this is what's going to happen. And Chris brought up a couple of these examples of the HBP not being looked at and saying, well, you can write that one off because, you know, that happened that day and you're trying to sanction her 2 days later.
Yeah.
It says in the HCP you can't do that. So you can't do that. We'll write that one off. You can't do this because you didn't take her stuff away from her.
Yeah.
That's not on her. That's on you.
Yeah.
You are meant to take her stuff from her. You didn't. That one goes. So he got rid of all these things and then was like, okay, are we done with this meeting? And they said, oh, yes. Go on then, Eivie, back to class. So off Eivie goes.
Oh, okay.
Everything's fine. She didn't have that bad a day at school. It was quite good. She came out of school with the boyfriend and Caitlin and some of Caitlin's friends, and they met Chris at Sainsbury's car park in town. And Chris brought Caitlin and Eivie home. It was about an hour, maybe a little bit more. Eivie had come in, went straight upstairs, got changed. She'd been messing about on her phone. Yeah. She came flying downstairs. She threw her phone and her iPad at Caitlin and said, I don't want these, keep them. Alarm bells start ringing then. So what's happened? So we sat her down and we were like, calm down. What's happened? You know, what's gone wrong? She then comes out with, this boy has said that I sent indecent images of him to all my friends on Snapchat. I've not sent anything. Caitlin's like, okay, let me have a look.
Indecent images of Eivie or indecent
images of the boy.
Okay, right.
At the time, I didn't know that this other child that was involved had actually backed him up already. I thought it was happening a little bit later, but it happened at the time. Caitlin went through all of Midge's phone, photographs, deleted files. She did an in-depth search of that phone. I said, there's nothing here. So then this boy's messaging, and Caitlin's messaging him back as herself, off of Eivie's account, but as herself. This was all done on Snapchat. And Caitlin's saying to him, what the hell? You've accused my sister of something. She's not done it. Where'd you get off type of thing? And she was actually voice noting him, and they were on call at one point where she was shouting at him and calling him all the names under the sun. And Eivie could hear all of this because she was sat on the sofa, so she knew that her corner was being fought. Yeah. In the meantime, Chris and I are saying to her that, we will back you 1,000% if you've not done anything, but you need to be 110% straight with us now. Yeah. If you've sent something, we need to know. And I can remember saying that night, if you've done this, you've fucked your life up. This is it. No, there will be no going into the net, which is what she wanted to do. There will be no dog handling. You fucked your life up. This is your career over. Because this is serious. And she said, I've not done anything. Then I back you. I will back you. And Caitlin's still going backwards and forwards between these two children saying, there's nothing here. You're liars. Stop. Yeah. It got to about 7:30, maybe 7:45. Now, Eivie had to have quite a structured bedtime because otherwise she didn't go to bed at a certain time. She wasn't going to sleep all night, and it didn't matter how much melatonin you put in her. It just, you could write that night off. So we were saying to her, okay, really think you should go to bed. Yep, okay. And the last thing Eivie said was, night, I love you. See you in the morning, Mum. And she went to bed. A couple of hours later, Caitlin went up. As she would. Caitlin went up later, so she went up. And she said she just stood there with her, seeing what she was seeing, but not, her brain wasn't making sense of what she was looking at. And she thought that Eivie was messing around. And then the scream, Mum, and I went, Jesus Christ. I went flying upstairs. I took one look at Eivie and I knew exactly, my child's dead. And it doesn't matter what I do, I can't bring her back. But we got her down. I started CPR. I used to be the first aider for Alresford Bulls, so I knew what I was doing. I could hear the call handler on the phone. Chris had got the call handler on the phone, and I could hear her saying 30 compression, 2 breaths, and I can remember saying, can you just fuck off and let me get on with it? And yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't have been that harsh, but I'm trying to do something I know I can't do. but I've got to do it. I've got to save my child.
Yeah.
Then I heard the bang on the door downstairs, and you get that hope. Oh, they've got the insulin injections, they've got the defibrillator, they've got this, they've got an aeroplane on, a helicopter on standby. Yeah. They've got a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but they've got one.
Yeah.
And I was gently ushered down the stairs by one of the paramedics. She's like, "You've done really well. You've done really well. Let's take over." Chris stayed upstairs. Caden was downstairs. Caden was hysterical. And we had 3 armed police officers because they were the closest unit. So these 3 armed police officers are in my front room. And I'm like, what? Why are you here? And nothing was computing. I could hear stuff going on upstairs, but it was like I was in a completely different room. I could hear them talking, but it was all muffled. I could hear the radios of the police officers, hear them talking amongst themselves. They watched us like hawks, which at the time I found quite insensitive. But a friend of mine has explained it to me and said that they're not watching you to see if you're dodgy or anything like that. It was just in case you broke. They could just rush in and grab you and be like, okay, let's, now's the time to settle this one out. When they'd done everything they could, and they had got Eivie breathing, but she couldn't breathe without the apparatus. That was when Chris was asked, "You need to call this now." I'm glad it was him, not me. Chris is a prison officer. He'd worked with young offenders who used to do this sort of thing for fun. But he also went into work mode that night. This is not my child. I have to look at her as a con. She's, for now, that's what I'm seeing. And I'll deal with the fallout when that part happens. They asked him to call her. He did. I heard him wail. That was it. I knew then my little girl was never coming back. No matter what, that was it. Her life at the age of 13 is over. It's done. And I just knew I want my mum. My mum was in Cyprus on holiday with my dad. So I was like, shit, I need to phone her. Yeah. I need to tell her. I had to do it. So I went outside and I was outside our house, which was on a very busy main road, with 2 ambulances with their lights still going and 3 police cars with their lights still going, all blocking the road up. People driving slowly to stare. The rubber knickers. And I'm phoning my dad's phone and I'm saying to him, "Dad, something really bad's happened." And I can barely hear you. I was like, "Dad, I need you to listen. Something really bad's happened." He's like, "I can barely hear you, Shelley." I'm like, "Dad, it's taken a life." And my dad went, I didn't catch that. And I hear my mum in the background saying to him, "Give me the phone." Gives me the phone. So mum's got the phone. And I've had to repeat it again. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to keep saying this. This hurts. I want you to listen. And I want you to understand that she's gone. Eventually, my mum was like, "Oh my God." And she said, "Right, we're coming home. And I was thinking to myself, it's like 11 o'clock at night. How are you coming home? Where are you going to get a phone from? Yeah. No sooner had I put the phone down, the paramedics came out of the house and said, "We're going to bring her out. Do you want to ride with her?" And I was like, "Yes." I don't want her with strangers. I can't drive to the hospital. I'll probably crash my car. Yeah. So Caden and Chris drove behind in my car. I was in the ambulance with Eivie. And they were lovely. The paramedics were amazing. They didn't cover her over. They left her uncovered, one arm out, so I could hold her hand the whole time. And my sister phoned me, my older sister. And she was like, "No." I went, "Yeah, Joe, yeah." Because my mum had phoned my sister and said, "You're here. Get to her."
Yeah.
Do whatever you can. My sister lives in London.
Yeah.
But she was like, I'm coming. And I'm like, no, don't, because we're going to the hospital now and I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So we get to the hospital. I'm asked to disembark so that they can get Eivie here.
Yeah.
I look around the ambulance. My husband's not there. And I'm like, where have they gone? Oh, God. I'm thinking, oh, my God, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Starts to panic. And one of the paramedics who'd been out back with me said, oh, no, they've had to park normally. They can't park in here. He will come through. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They will get them to find you. She was then taken to resus, which I found horrible. That was horrific for me.
Yeah.
Eilie's in a resus bay. You can hear machines bleeping. You can hear families talking to their loved one who is very much alive still. Maybe by a breathing apparatus, but they're alive.
Yeah.
And I'm sat with my child's dead body. And I was like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
So they moved us. We were met by one of the doctors. She explained what would happen next. We were going to be taken to a room. Eivie was going to be in this room and we were going to be in another room so that the police could talk to us.
Yeah.
But we could go backwards and forwards between this room and Eivie's room, to sit with her, talk to her, do whatever you need for as long as you need.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went through the process of being spoken to by a police detective and a police constable. At this point, the first line of inquiries are done, which is to interview the family, to say, right, okay, well, we can rule you out of any wrongdoing.
Yes.
The next protocol is they go to speak to the school, speak to camps, speak to the doctors, speak to social services, anybody who was in his environment at that time, they have to speak to. So, again, they get an overall picture of us, what we were like as a family, what the school perceived us to be like as a family. So again, if there was anything in that investigation, Chris and I would probably be inside if they'd found anything. Yeah. So that was all brought out. We were then asked by this police officer, what do you want to do? Do you want us to take you home? And my husband went, no, we're not going home. We're going to Portsmouth. This police officer said, you can't go to Portsmouth. He said, watch me. I can. I'm going. Chris's dad lives in Portsmouth with his wife. And we just wanted to be as far away from our house as possible. Yeah. I couldn't go to my mum and dad because they weren't there. Yeah. Didn't really want to go to my sister's, not because I didn't want to be around my sister, but I just needed somewhere far, far away. Yeah. So we drove from Pembury Hospital to Portsmouth and arrived around 5:30 in the morning. And then it was just, everything's very numb from that point. You're having to explain again to family members, you know that you're going to have to start telling people. None of us wanted to do that. We told Caitlin, please don't put anything on social media. Then the next day, the realisation hits that we've run away from home, but we've run away with literally everything we're wearing. We've got nothing with us. So we went and got some bits. We then sat in a subway and started the process of what would Midge want? How would she want her funeral to go? What songs would she like? What kind of casket does she want? All those sorts of things. So we sat there in this subway, surrounded by happy families, where we're trying not to cry, starting to sort out our child's and Caitlin's sister's funeral. It's not fabulous. It didn't. It felt like a bit like an out-of-body experience. Very numbing. You know, you don't really feel anything at that point. It hadn't really sunk in. We knew we were somewhere where we would have woken up in the morning and Eivie would have been there normally. Yeah. And there we are as a family of 3, not a family of 4. And I think Chris's dad and so we're finding it very, very difficult with us being there because again, normally would have been all of that.
Yeah.
Because
it has a massive impact, isn't it?
It's huge. It's a huge impact. You have to start seeing your family dynamic completely different.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. And like Christmas is coming up, and I just seen so many things like think to other, oh, you would, and then that horrible part of my brain goes, yeah, she would. You're absolutely right. She'd love that, but she can't have it, can she? And that hurts.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I couldn't help but feel some of your pain when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
How on earth have you? I don't even know the right words to say. Lived? How have you lived through this?
One day at a time.
Yeah.
I went back to work about 2 weeks after Eivie passed because I couldn't sit in the house. I definitely couldn't go into the girl's bedroom. I spent literally about 10 minutes in the doorway and wouldn't even look. You know, I'd be like this, and Kate would be like, "Mum, I'm trying to talk to you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to not fall downstairs here, Kate. You know, Kate's a zag." So 2 weeks after she passed, I was like, I need to go back to work. I need to be out of this house, and I need to try and channel everything into my job. Whereas Chris stayed at home. He had quite a considerable amount of time off. He had bugged his knee up, and that was why he was off when Eivie was suspended anyway. So yeah, God knows how he did it, but he did it. He managed to stay in that house. And I think just trying not to remember Eivie as Eivie, the child who took her life, but trying to remember her how she was. She was, I've said this so many times to people, if you met Eivie, you definitely remembered that you'd met that child. She was unforgettable. She was alive, very much a presence in a room. She would always be noisy, the quirky faces, the funny voices, the singing, dancing.
She sounds amazing.
She was an amazing
really
child. Yeah, she was amazing, and she gave the best cuddles. So that's part. There's little things that you think, oh, I miss that so much. You know, I'll sit on the sofa at home and I think, oh, what a gift to have a nice Eivie cuddle, even with all the hair that would have been marriage days. You know, yeah, yeah, it's hard not to have that. It's hard, like I said, Christmas, birthdays, Halloween. We've just gone through Halloween again. I'm a big horror fan in the household. Halloween to me is like, wow. I love Halloween.
Yeah.
And decorating again. I mean, Chris did help me, which is big of him because he hates doing things like that. But I kept saying to him, she'd love this. She'd be like, oh my God, yeah, sorry, that's fine, Mum, that's fantastic. Imagine if that was in the house. Where would you be? And I'd be like, well, I'd be setting fire to the house. I'd be far, far away.
So you talk about her a lot.
Yeah, an awful lot. Yeah.
That's nice to hear that she's really, not that she wouldn't be, but I don't know. How have you found paid support?
That's been a real weird one. So when we put a big post out as a family on social media on the Sunday, we then turned all our phones off and went for a walk around the creek in Portsmouth.
Okay.
So we phoned the people we needed to phone.
Yeah.
I text people that my voice just wouldn't do anymore. So a lot of our very close friends and family already knew. And then we did the big bombshell of this has happened, right now turn the phone off. When we got back to our phones, we had a message from one of the head leads at school,
Okay.
safeguarding leads, saying, I've been alerted to this by a parent. Is everything okay? What's going on? So my husband dealt with that because I said I can't
Yeah,
anybody else.
I
So he dealt with that and said yes, it's true. So they then had to start compiling their emails, which went out to the school, and then other schools that Eivie would have had friends at. At that point, you had a lot of people saying to you, I'm here for you. What do you need? Where are you? I'll come to see you, blah, blah, blah. So you had that. You had a lot of people coming round when we got home. There was a lot of support, constant phone calls, constant text messages, if I can, do you need anything? And then you have the funeral. And the funeral was in the April. And it was totally Eivie. It was a totally Eivie affair. But on that day, still, room for the people saying, I'm here for you. Not going anywhere. And then within a month, the text messages stop, the phone calls stop. When you text people, it's very quick. It's a very quick conversation. So they will say, how are you? You will say how you're actually feeling. And it's like, oh, right, sort of thing. Okay. Can you not deal with that?
How did that feel for you? Because I feel that's really important for people to hear.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt a lot. These are some people that I've grown up with. These are people I've had in my life for a long time. And now all of a sudden they can't deal with my grief. And I did get angry. I got very angry with people.
You have a lot to be angry about.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't understand what is it you can't get your head around.
Yeah.
How I'm feeling or how I'm making you feel. Because I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm not trying to make you feel upset. I'm not trying to make you feel awkward. I'm just saying it as it is. You've asked me a question. I've been honest. You don't like my honesty. That's on you.
Yeah.
And it really did hurt. And I've lost quite a few friends who I thought I'd had in my life for forever, like you always do. And they've gone. To a certain extent, you get it with family as well. I remember saying to my mum, I will not have Eivie being the elephant in the room. When my brother passed, and my brother passed from cancer, when my brother passed, if you said Stuart's name, you got this. I'm not having that. I won't have you wince. I won't have you drawing breath when I say my daughter's name. I'll not have that. And it has happened a few times, and I've addressed it straight away. And yeah, it's I can't have that.
No.
She was too young to have to deal with all of this. She should never have had to go through what she went through and what she was put through. But I won't allow her to just be, I suppose, a statistic. Just a number. Either right, there she is. Number, blah blah blah. That will do. That's her. No, she's not. She's way more than that.
Oh, 100%. When you talk about what they didn't do, what did you really need from people? Because I think grief's quite a subject without taking your own life or otherwise. Like, what did you need from people? What would have helped you?
Excuse the phrase, but back up your bullshit. If you say to someone, I'll be there for you, be there. Don't drop them, don't ghost them. That is the worst thing you can do to someone who's grieving. We already have this mindset of questioning everything we do. Every conversation, we play it back. Did I say something wrong? Oh my God, you play everything. Every text message, you reread them and think, oh God, how did that come across? So if you're going to say to somebody who's grieving, I'll be there for you, be there for them. Don't walk away. However hard you find it, however tough it is, however awkward you find the situation, that's nothing compared to what that person's going through. And that is day in, day out, minute by minute, second by second.
there's no escape.
There is no escape from it. No.
Whereas you can have a conversation with someone for an hour and then go, about your life, really, can't you?
And don't be afraid to bring up that person's person. You know, don't be afraid to say Eivie's name to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to burst into tears. I love hearing other people talk about her. Some of the girls that she played rugby with, when they talk about her, it's like they've kept her alive. For her birthday last year, we all met up where her ashes are interred, and we had a cake, and there were quite a few people up there. It was lovely. It's hearing stories of what she was like, which a lot of the time I was there, so I knew what she was like.
Yeah.
But they would say, you definitely knew when she did not want to play or did not want to train. It was like, that was evident.
Yeah.
She'd just bugger off back into the clubhouse, and you'd be like, oh, we'll stay out in the cold, it's all right. You just go and sit and have yourself a cup of tea.
And some would say, that KODD, but also maybe she just got really good boundaries. Actually, no, that's not for me. I'm all right.
She had fallen out of love with the game a bit.
Yeah.
I was first aiding for the team, so I had to beat them anyway. And I must admit, I did put a bit of pressure on her and say, well, come on, I've got to go. So come on. Even if you just sit and chat to the girls, at least you're there.
Yeah.
And then matches, we're pretty much a no-go. We turn up and it would be like, she's just not ready. So, cut your losses.
But she showed up.
She showed up, yeah. She would be there.
And we spoke earlier about things that you really don't like hearing. Can you share something with one?
Yes. So my biggest ick is you're so strong. I hate that with a passion. It's not a strength that I want. I'm not a strong man or anything like that. I don't bodybuild. It is just something. It's a coping mechanism you have to use. You have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. If you don't, then your fate is sealed. You will end up the same way. So it's not strength. It's just we have no choice. We have to keep moving forward.
Like a survival.
Yeah, it's a survival thing. I've got another child. I've got a husband. I've got family who adore me. I've got friends. I can't just. And believe me, I've been to that point. I have been at the edge of the cliff, asking the question, do I carry on driving? I thought about throwing myself out of the car on the motorway. So I've been to that rock bottom point of this is it. I'm going to do it. I can't be here anymore. I can't take this pain.
Yeah.
But you find something within yourself, and it's not strength. It's just I've got to carry on. I have to just keep going. And the other one that I really can't stand, and my friend also can't stand this one, is I'm sorry for your loss. It almost sounds very insincere when it's delivered, but it also sounds like they feel guilty in some way, and you think, well, you had nothing to do with it, so what are you sorry for? You've got nothing to be sorry for. But also I don't know how else you deliver that.
No, and we said that. Yeah, didn't we?
How do you say without saying, I'm sorry for your loss?
And then I wonder if we put the personal back into it. I'm really going to miss Eivie.
Yeah.
Or, oh God, I can't imagine how it'd be with you love that Eivie.
Yeah.
Like making it a real personal thing, maybe. I don't know what would work for you.
I think that would come across better. It sounds more sincere for a start. It doesn't sound like just one of those hallmark things. You just say to the grieving, oh, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll walk on now. So yeah, that's.
And you've been raising awareness about suicide, which kudos. What sort of things have you been up to?
So I have done 30 days of yoga. That was for I've got to get this right. This one's from mind. Then I have done a couple of walks, 30 days worth of walking, or distance walking for young minds and mind. I did the Baton of Hope. I was one of the baton bearers for the Baton of Hope. The Baton of Hope is a symbol of hope for those who have lost somebody to suicide or those who are suicidal themselves. That was recently. That was a fantastic opportunity. Met lots of people who, unfortunately, we were all there for the same reason. And it was nice to have everybody together. It wasn't a nice thing to be doing because we all know why we were there.
Yeah.
But it was nice that we could all come together collectively in our grief and remember our person, and be that symbol. You know, you're walking through areas where people can see you. It was televised as well, so people got to see what it was like. But it is, because there is so much stigma around suicide, around mental health. You know, you're not supposed to talk about it. It's particularly don't talk about mental health. But that's the problem.
That is the problem.
They're not talking, and then they end up getting to the point where they can't take anymore. I'm not just saying it's children. I know it's adults as well. But with the young people, a lot of it is to do with social media. It's rife. It's too much.
So another thing, just to really, what's as the parents who might have been bullied, the parents of the bullies or the bullied, what sort of advice would you have about conversations? Because it's very different knowing what you know now after you experienced that than when probably before. Is there any advice you could give?
Talk to your child. Ask those awkward questions. What are you searching online? Who are you talking to online? What apps are you using? Yes, they're going to be defensive. Of course they are. Kids, that's what they do. They don't want to be caught out. But you've got to persevere. You've got to find out what's going on, who's saying what, evidence everything. Keep screenshots of anything and everything, even if you don't think it's relevant. It might well be, and it could build a case. We've got screenshots of things that have been said since Eivie's passed. We've got screenshots where people have come to us and said, "Oh, you know, this happened. This was the person involved." Unfortunately, it is called hearsay. Unless you can completely concrete evidence that person was at that point saying this to that person, it's never going to work. We've had a situation where a certain person on a platform was talking about Eivie as they knew her well. It was seen by Caitlin. And Caitlin was like, I'm not having that. So Caitlin made a video, but all it was a soundbite saying, "Can I speak my truth again?" It had no reference to this person whatsoever. She didn't tag the account, she didn't put the person's name, nothing. The next thing, Caitlin's got mother in her comments telling her, you know, stop, take this down immediately, blah, blah, blah. Caitlin's like, what have I done? And it's spiraled from that point on. And we've had trouble, and we've had police involvement. It's at the point now that I've spoken to solicitors, and I have a very good case if I want to go forward against these people for harassment, defamation, and slander, because publicly the mother put that I murdered my child. Without any evidence whatsoever.
And that's a really, I haven't got the words. In fact, I'm not going to try and even come to the words for that, because I don't think anything would be appropriate for anyone's ears right now. And I can't even begin to imagine how that must have felt for you after everything you've been through. Yeah, wow.
That was
wow.
probably one of the worst things I've heard.
And words really hurt.
Yeah, they do.
Not just young people, but adults as well.
No, exactly. And bearing in mind my page that I have on social media is predominantly for bullying awareness and suicide awareness, and trying the prevention for the two of them. To have someone say things like that and other comments that would put as well, you're bullying someone whose child was bullied to the point they took their life. Can you not see the problem there? You're doing the same things that your child did. Now, we've never said, not once have we said that this particular child was the sole reason that Eivie took her life. We've never said that. Other people have claimed it. That's down to them. We've never ever said it because we know it's not true. We know that with Eivie, the catalyst was the two on the night that she took her life. We know that that is the most probable answer. But it was a accumulation. So it built up over time. It wasn't just, right, that's it and done. It happened for a long, long time.
And I think also it's really good for parents to be aware about teaching their kid about kindness. And you said about talking about social media, your kid's going to be quite defensive.
Yeah.
But actually, if we make it the norm, we start as soon as they get a phone in their hand, actually, then maybe they won't become so defensive because it's a norm conversation.
And don't be afraid to say to your child, I'd like to have a look, please.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. They are going to say no. They are going to try and stop you. But you're the adult. Take that phone, look through it. If there is something on there you don't like, then you need to bring it up with them and say, I'm not happy with how you've spoken in that chat room, or I don't like how that person said that to you. I don't like that image.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. Delete it. Get rid of it. Don't be in that chat room. Don't speak to this person. Because I think, and I don't want to shame anybody, but there is too much leniency. There is too much of this, but they're quiet. They've got their iPad. They've got their phone. They're quiet. They're leaving me alone to get on with X, Y, Z. No.
And also, I think, how do you feel about the school now?
Well, I was made aware by one of Caitlin's friends, whose little sister is due to start next year, I think it is. She went into the school with her little sister to have a walk around. And she said, there's a sensory room now. And I almost lost my mind because I said, nearly 3 years ago, you need to have a room that is designed around neurodivergent children, something to help them calm down, somewhere for them to go that is calming, has fidget toys, anything to just help them decompress, because you're putting a lot of pressure on them. This is secondary school. It's pressurized. It's constant. Homework for this, essays for this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't, all day long. They can't cope.
Yeah.
And you're firing this at them and you're just expecting them to walk away at the end of the day and be fine. They're not.
Yeah.
They need somewhere, an outlet for them to go, to just go, right, okay, I need to have 5-10 minutes of just downtime. And they've got this place now. So that was a real stinger.
Positive, bittersweet.
Yeah, it really was. I understand it's great, and I applaud them for finally doing it. But what was wrong with doing it nearly 3 years ago? What was wrong with actually listening to us 3 years ago? What was wrong with looking at her EHCP before lessons?
And it's legal and binding document, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, it does get a bit slow up.
Yeah. Look at it.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure of something, ask the Senko. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Why are these things not being done? And I know parents now who are still fighting for EHCP, 5-6 years on.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It is. It needs to change.
It does need to change. And these children are thrown into mainstream schools without any HCP, and they are literally left.
And I just wonder, we've totally gone off subject, but if education as a whole needs to be looked at.
100%.
We are.
Yeah.
It's not working.
it's archaic.
Mm.
You know, it may have worked for you and I when we were at school. Did it? Really?
I mean, when was the last time you used algebra?
Exactly. Never. I just had to shoot the socks off. There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's a one size box fits all. It doesn't.
No, it really doesn't.
It really doesn't. Some children learn by reading from a textbook.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. Some children learn, like I do, hands on.
Yeah, you do.
So you need to adapt the classes for all children, not just the ones that are typical.
Or the ones that can master really well.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, your story is inspiring. Eivie sounds phenomenal, and I just all I can say is thank you for raising that awareness, coming on to speak to us today.
I have this chance.
I couldn't, I just can't imagine, and my tears have flown as well today.
Yeah.
Because, but I think you're doing an amazing job, one day at a time.
Yeah.
And if you do anything in the future that you want to come in and talk about, or you want to come and revisit us, I just think you're phenomenal. Thank you ever so much, and your family too, and just Eivie.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Look after yourself. That's quite intense emotions running there. So we will see you next Tuesday.